Hi everybody, this is Wrtier with the writers group at femfiction.net. Today we're going to be doing Crack Shipping, Trixie and the Wheel. Today's reader is Barro the Broadcaster.
Chapter 1, Part 1, A Spoken Tale. Trixie remembers how it all began. Trixie wasn't on her best legs at the time. She had been called a fool, a failure, and she was run out of every town. Trixie is willing to admit part of it might have been her fault. Inconceivable, right? Trixie having a fault. Maybe other than her horn being one length shorter than most unicorn mares, but that never stopped Trixie from being the most amazing magician of all time. Or it didn't for a while. Trixie sighs. If I can be honest, I wear the hat so no pony will notice that short length. She removes her hat, placing it next to her on the log, and stares longingly into the flame. Trixie finds it incredible and unfair how such a minor difference in length can affect a mare so much. Trixie had a long, strong horn from birth. Trixie's magic was prodigious, but as it would turn out, her horn would not grow much into her size, leaving her to be incredibly underwhelming. But if Trixie ever hears you telling someone this, she will have you shoved into a box filled with pheromone cologne and shipped to a harpy country. Trixie's getting off topic. Trixie was in her wagon, which had been defaced by some hooligans. The graffiti was to serve as a permanent reminder. To them, it was how I was a farce. But to me, it was a small scribble on a long list of reasons why I wanted to exact revenge on a certain mare. It was raining, and the dirt road was almost impossible to traverse. Trixie was out in an open plain, with nothing but the grass and sky to keep me company, and Trixie realized she'd have to wait for the rain to subside before she could continue. No, don't say it. Trixie doesn't want to hear it from you. Where was Trixie? Right. Trixie awoke from under her vehicle. The rain had let up and it looked passable to travel. The ground did not work wonders like Trixie's bed could, so she felt sore and stiff. Trixie also had a horrible throbbing headache. She climbed inside and fetched a bottle of herbal medicine. It helped a little. Upon inspecting herself in the caravan's mirror, Trixie screamed at the lump on her forehead. Trixie thought she was going to have to wear her hat a lot lower for a while. She levitates a stick off the ground and a marshmallow out of the bag, putting them both together. She hovers the white puff over the flame. I don't normally eat such things, they're too chewy. But if I've heard the stories correctly, they taste much better after being cooked on an open flame. She pauses for a minute, focusing intently on cooking the treat properly for the first time. It browns over and she yelps as the tip catches fire for a brief moment, surprising her and sending her over the back of the log. Her cooked marshmallow flies off the stick and splats on the tip of her horn. She looks at you and blushes, embarrassed. The rest of the day was boring. It was spent traveling on an open road and Trixie did not see one other traveler. Trixie began to wonder if perhaps she had gone the wrong way and was heading into dangerous territory. These feelings were soon put to rest as the tips of the buildings peered over a distant hill. Trixie had but one problem. She was running low on food and water. Her previous flop, she makes air quotes with her hooves, in the last town did not earn her many bits, so she could not buy as much. Trixie checked her map and found a small stream was nearby to the west. She turned her cart into the open and followed her compass down a slight incline in the open plain. When Trixie got there, she found something interesting in the water. It was a wooden wheel with a peculiar set of carvings around the edges. I wonder who it was too, Rolando. She slyly winks. It was clear to Trixie some pony had put much time into the carvings, giving the wheel a story of its own. In the middle of this crystal-clear stream was this wheel sticking out of the water. It looked very strong and durable. Trixie couldn't believe her luck. Curiosity got the best of Trixie and she waded into the water, approaching it. She did what any unicorn would do and attempted to pull it out with her magic. It seemed rooted in place as half of it was in the dirt. I scraped the bottom for a while, hoping to dislodge some of the dirt holding it in. When it began to tilt, Trixie knew it was ready to be pried out. Trixie suddenly felt the ground shake beneath her. The water trembled and turned dirty as the soil rose. Tiny spikes began to lift out of the ground. Trixie only barely saw them in time. It was an aqueous flytrap, and a big one at that. With Trixie's amazing speed and skill, Trixie leapt out of the water. She begins to mimic the scene by balancing on the log, looking down at the ground like it was the stream. The aqueous flytrap rose out of the stream an entire 3 feet above Trixie's head and spat out the dirt. Trixie was held in place by fear for one moment, she admits, as she realized it was a purple aqueous flytrap, the third most dangerous kind. They were known for their violent behavior and their loud roars. Its long, slender purple tongue threw the object Trixie so desired right at her. She caught it in a quick-fire levitation spell. Its tongue lashed at me like a whip, and I used the wheel as a shield. Whap! Whip! Wham! Trixie blocked it with ease. Whip-ham! Wham! Slap after slap, its terrible tongue lashed at Trixie. The beast roared with its mighty plant jaws. Furious, it was not able to capture the great and powerful Trixie! But the battle was not over just yet. The aqueous had one other plan in mind. In a sneaky maneuver, it wrapped its tongue around her only source of defense once more, and, in a moment of foolishness, Trixie forgot to stop her levitation. Oh, right. When a unicorn is levitating something, she pops the marshmallow she had been cooking into her mouth. These are good. Ah, Trixie knows she's going to have another of those. So, Trixie was thrown into the air, right into the monster's jaws. With a loud clasp, it closed them shut, leaving Trixie trapped in the darkness. An odd, gurgling sound was coming from inside there, and Trixie did not want to find out what that meant. Trixie tried to move, but something slimy was holding her leg. It was the tongue! It was pulling her deeper into the beast, ready to be swallowed whole. Trixie bashed the wheel against the tongue, but it would not let go. It was too strong. Trixie was desperate, so she bent down and bit the tongue. Trixie was expecting it to be thicker, so imagine Trixie's surprise when she bit straight through. She didn't stop for a moment. She didn't have time to. If Trixie knew anything about aqueous, it was that they eat fast. Trixie ran blindly in the darkness, holding the wheel out in front of her, and hit the wall of teeth. The beast opened its mouth for a moment from the pain, but it was not wide enough for her to squeeze through. Trixie swung the wheel against the teeth, but they would not budge. Helplessly, Trixie swung it against every tooth until one budged. It was loose. With primal fury, blood pumping, she bashed that tooth with her wooden shield like a mad mare, determined not to become some plant's breakfast. The bean yelped and screamed until it came completely out. Trixie jumped through the hole and onto the riverbank below. The great and powerful mare rolled in the dirt, coming to an eventual stop. As the beast riled around, flailing its upper body savagely, Trixie picked up the tooth and charged towards the stem. Its tongue once more tried to grab me, but Trixie evaded it. The tip of her makeshift knife plunged into the stem, and a spray of green goop went into her eyes. Trixie blindly continued to drag it down the middle until finally reaching the bottom. Trixie plunged her tooth into the middle and forced it all the way through, pulling it through the side to cut the overgrown weed down. It took one final breath and then collapsed in the river. Huffing and puffing, as one might after such a horrific encounter, Trixie dunked her body into the deepest part of the river to clear the plant's blood off of Trixie. It was unpleasant smelling, like roses in garbage. When she exited the water, she felt something wiggling against her leg and saw it was the tongue, still grabbing on. I didn't notice it before, but it left a strange but not unpleasant taste in my mouth. It was technically a plant, and I was low on provisions. Well, what else would you have done? Trixie did what she had to. Yes, Trixie harvested aqueous flytrap tongue and whatever else she thought she could cook. Actually, it tasted fine. Didn't get sick either. Purple aqua tongue isn't half bad. If it wasn't so dangerous to come by, it could be a good meal. Don't give me that look. Stop! What do you mean? How can something so cute... Don't you dare get on Trixie's nerves! She throws a molten marshmallow at you, but it misses. The nerve. Trixie oughta. But she won't. Trixie knows better. After all, Trixie does owe you her life. What a day it's been. Trixie is glad you were strong, there to defend her. Not like you had much choice. Well, being captive to an aqueous Oh, the shield business. Trixie apologizes for that too. Besides, that plant didn't lash out anything you couldn't handle. Rolando? Rolando, are you okay? Do not try to lie to me. I know. Rolando! You should have told me you were hurt. A splintered leg this entire time. Here, come with me. I'll fetch you some bandages. Hurts that much, huh? Here, I will carry you to my caravan. What? What's wrong? Trixie's levitation is hurting you. Trixie is the one who caused this, not the plant? I see. Okay, okay. Trixie will carry you then. You are heavier than Trixie thought. No, but Trixie supposes you could lose a few. Yes, I suppose. Trixie's magic is just that strong. Okay, down easy, Rolando. Thwomp. Of course. Trixie knew it'd be easier to pull the caravan to you. She wanted... No, never mind that. Prop yourself up against the caravan. Trixie will be back in one moment. The sound of a creaky cabinet door opening and bottles being shuffled around echoes through the cabin. Trixie is out of rags? This can't be. Trixie stocked up last town. Her searching continues. Horn pokers. Trixie really is out. It is silent for a moment, the only sounds keeping the air company being the cackle of the low fire. A ripping of cloth echo is made obvious. Trixie walks back out, carrying a purple and starlit scrap in her mouth. Stay still. Yes, Trixie knows what this is. She can always find a new cloak. No, don't apologize to Trixie. She caused this. Stay still, please. One more rap and... Ah! Trixie falls over as the wheel rolls a bit, sending her face into the rim. Trixie pulls back, covering a hoof with her mouth. Trixie is sorry. She didn't mean it. She suddenly becomes forceful, becoming almost face to face with you. Listen here. You tell no one that Trixie kissed you. Why? You don't get to know why. Trixie just thinks it's not proper. She sighs. Do you really want to know what's going on? Trixie supposes she cannot deny you that, considering all she's done to you today. Okay. Trixie, she mumbles the rest. Trixie said she whispers the rest. I haven't kissed any pony before, okay? Is that all? This is a sensitive issue for Trixie. She's a grown mare and... That was your first two? You were saving it for a special someone? Trixie does not know what to say. She blushes profusely. Okay. She leans down and props you up. So, how did Trixie do it the first time? Like this? Peck. Agreed. Even better the second time. You're right. That wouldn't be decent of Trixie. She stands up proper. Trixie thinks she should head in for the night. Do you have any place to sleep then, Rolando? The log. Trixie looks inside of her caravan for a brief moment. One moment. Shuffling noises come from inside. Trixie walks back out with a pillow and a white blanket. Trixie always has spares. Are you sure you want to sleep there? Very well. Here we are. She levitates the pillow behind your head and the blanket over most of your body. Sleep well, Rolando. I'll fetch more firewood in the morning. She leans in for a quick, unexpected peck. She walks back to her caravan, flank swaying a bit more than usual, and she has an odd skip in her step. And so concludes part 1.